Okay, everybody, I am so excited to have you here. As I was saying before we started recording, it is always awesome to see people I have worked with before show up to these type of events. It's a vote of confidence. Now, what we're going to be doing, and again, if you didn't see, here's the magic box where I will be pulling two names. They're already in here. I'm going to be pulling two names out of there to gift a $10,500 platinum package to each of those individuals. And then I will offer the remaining of you guys, an opportunity to purchase a year package at 90% off. Um, so what are limiting beliefs? Limiting beliefs are any idea or belief you hold that constricts your movement, your activity, your thought processes, and your ambition towards something that is considered a level of elevation, a level of empowerment, an improvement. In other words, limiting beliefs tend to hold you or anchor you to ideas, experiences, and beliefs of the past. One of the most devastating things that you can do in this life is consult your past to determine what you're going to do in your future. Your past has the limits of what it has experienced, what it has learned, what it thinks it knows, and it can only answer from that. And most people consult their past to see if they want to move in a certain direction in the future. The beautiful thing to understand about this life is you don't have to know. Okay, here's another person. You don't have to know how you're going to get something done in order to start the process of doing it. Matter of fact, Les Brown often says that when you are preparing to do something that you have never done in your life, how you are going to do it at that time is absolutely none of your business. Now, why does Les say that? Because if I'm preparing to do something in my life, if I'm preparing to do something that I've never done before, what are the chances that I know how to do it? I mean, think about it. If I've never done it before, I probably don't know how to do it. I might know people who've done it. I might have an idea, but I won't have specifics. I won't be able to map it out. I won't be able to set it up. So then I have to ask myself, why am I consulting that? So everyone who has done something that they've never done before had to do it from a place of creativity, imagination, research, and commitment to the cause. And so you don't ask yourself when you're trying to make up in your mind if you're going to do it, do you know how? No, you don't. You figure that out after you make the commitment. The commitment says, I believe I can. I believe it's possible. And if I believe it's possible and it's something that I want, then I commit and I go after it. But if I have limiting beliefs about myself, I'm too old, I'm too young, I'm not smart enough, I come from the wrong background, I made too many mistakes in my past, nobody's going to believe in me, people are going to laugh at me, people are going to talk about me, people are going to hate me, nobody's going to support me. All of those things will lock you in to a space in which you don't take action because your beliefs have held you anchored to your past experiences. What this course is about is sitting up and understanding that the only limits that you have in your entire life are the ones that you accept with your mind. I'm telling you that when you release your mind to start imagining things, unbelievable things start to happen. The difference between all the people that you tend to look at and say, wow, they're so successful. Wow. You look at these people. The only difference is they unleashed their minds. The only difference is they became committed to a cause. The only difference is they learned that failure was a part of the process and they learned how to fail forward. And so they learned how to fail into success. And that's the only difference. Nobody makes it to success without failing. Nobody makes it into success without falling. Nobody makes it into success without having a commitment to take the bumps and the bruises. You don't circumvent the struggles of life and then expect, oh, well, I'm gonna go around this challenge. I'm gonna go under this challenge. I'm gonna go backwards from this challenge and think you're gonna actually, no, the challenge is the preparation. The challenge is a part of the process, but you have to believe. So then when you see yourself not moving, when you see yourself being apprehensive about doing something, you got to ask yourself, what limiting belief is it that's holding me back? Some people, it's more than one thing. Some people are literally petrified of failure. Other people are petrified of having to deal with people, period. Some people are petrified of what people are going to think about what they think. But what I have to tell you is none of that stuff matters. The only thing matters is what you think. What do you think? What do you believe? What do you believe is possible? And if you don't believe it is possible, then you have to find out why. Why don't I believe it? More than likely, you can go back to your childhood. Your mother told you you weren't ever going to do anything but this. Your mother or your father told you the best you'll ever do is this. Somebody told you you weren't built to do anything like that. You're not smart enough. You're not bright enough. You're not brilliant or intelligent enough. You too old to do stuff. Once you get past a certain age, if you ain't got it done by then, you're just out of the box. All of these things are lies. Warren Buffett is one of the top 10 richest men in the world. 99% of his wealth was built after he turned 50. So don't tell me you're too old. Some of the most brilliant minds creating some of the things that we take for granted now are still babies, relatively speaking. And the beauty about their emotional infancy is that they have not yet learned limitation. That's why I love the beautiful mind of children. They still imagine things. See, the imagination wasn't ever meant to be abandoned, but most parents shut the imagination down around school age. You know, they let you play with your imaginary friends. They let you sit up and imagine you are anywhere. You're a space, you're a cowboy, you're doing all this. They let you imagine that until it's time to go to school. Then they tell you to get your head out of the clouds. They start telling you that's not realistic. And in their mind, they're actually protecting you. In their mind, they don't want you to go out there with these big dreams and they get squeezed back into that small box. So they start squeezing you and putting you in the box before the world ever tries. Many of you go out into the world before you ever really get a chance to get exposed to anything. You've already got these limitations boxing you in. If I don't start with money, I'll never have money. Only rich people kids can get. No, I'm telling you that I know far too many people who started out in extreme poverty who are extremely wealthy. It is a mindset. It is a belief about oneself. It is a desire to do something better than what you are doing in any area of life. There is absolutely nothing that you cannot become if you decide it. And remember, you don't get in this life what you want. You get what you become. You get who you are. The problem is you have limiting beliefs telling you that you can't be it. You can't do that. You did. Then on top of it, most people hang around people with the same belief systems. So on top of you believing you can't, you got your homeboy or your homegirl sitting up telling you, you know you can't do that. Come on, man. And then before you know it, you put the vision down, y'all out getting drinks and, you know, talking about it's girls' night out or, hey, man, it's guys' night. We showing up, we lit. And you don't put the dream down because you got the wrong people around you. You got to start encircling yourself with people who believe the impossible. You got to start embodying the belief that you can do anything. And you got to have people that when you set your life on fire, they fan your flames. You better have some people around you that can see the genius in you, even when you can't. Because there's going to be some tough times where you're going to look up and say, man, what was I thinking? What was I thinking I could do this? And you need somebody to whisper over, you got it. You got it. One of the things I do often with my clients, I just whisper over and say, hey, look, you built for this. You got it. Cut it out. We're not doing that. We're not shutting down. But what you're going to find is in the lessons, I made the lessons, which are actual modules of replication. And so if you look at the lessons, what you're going to see are different limiting beliefs, everything from I'm too old to my past will always negatively influence my life. And you go through each one of them, what you're going to find, there's a process of identifying the belief and replacing the belief with a new belief. And what I want people to do when they go through the course is practice every last one of those modules. Even if that belief isn't a belief you hold, you want to solidify the idea of the new belief and you create it. But what it's doing is training you to practice the process of replacing a limiting belief with a liberating belief. What we're going to use right now as an example, and then we're going to go off into the blueprint. After I go through the blueprint with you, then we're going to start taking questions. All right, so let's say on lesson number 4, limiting belief is my past will always negatively influence my future. Now, what happens is there are people who literally believe that. People believe because I made a mistake. Some people believe because I went to prison, because I was addicted to drugs, because I've had X amount of failed marriages, because this, then I am doomed to live my life at this level. I'm doomed to live and that's absolutely not true. The problem is, as long as you believe it is, it becomes an influential part of how you think, how you move, and how you operate. You are never going to think and believe one thing and behave differently, because that creates an imbalance in behavior, and it is the definition of insanity. So in order to remain sane, your behavior is always going to line up with your self-image, what you believe about yourself, how you see yourself in the world, how you see yourself moving, how you see yourself operating is how you're going to behave. So if you buy into a belief that you're not smart, you can be exceptionally smart, but you're going to go into school and subconsciously you're going to engage your work without enthusiasm, without an expectation of doing well. So you won't pay attention to detail, and you're going to get the results back of the work you did, which will reinforce the belief that you weren't smart. The truth of the matter is you didn't apply yourself. Most of the things you're going to find that aren't happening for you is because you have not aptly and consistently applied yourself. So what happens? How do you do this? Well, the first thing you do is you identify the belief that your past holds a future over you. Then you have to rewrite the belief. I tell everyone, look, you are the editor-in-chief of your life story. At any time you don't like the way the story is being told, you have the ability to rewrite it. You are never locked into a way that you are living. You have the ability to sit up and say, I don't like this story. I'm rewriting it. I don't want to be poor. I'm going to rewrite a narrative of wealth. I'm going to build wealth. I'm going to think wealth. I'm going to develop a financial literacy that teaches me how to think about money, how to handle money, how to use money so that money works for me and I don't work for money. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do. So then what happens is you take that belief and now you understand that it has absolutely nothing to do with your past. It has everything to do with what you're going to do now. Whether you're successful or not is determined by what you do now, not what you've done in the past. What you've done in the past gave you consequences and situations you probably already lived out or you're currently living in. So the one thing that we know for sure is you do not get out of a situation you're in using the same thinking that got you there. So, okay, if I can't get out of that situation by doing what got me there, what do? I have to think differently. So then what do? I find people who are doing what I'm trying to do, and I look at how they think, how they talk, what they do, who they hang around. All the things that they practice, I want to know. And if I can get close enough to ask them, I'm going to ask them, well, why do you do this? And they'll tell you. Why do you do that? And they'll tell you, and then it'll explain, well, this is what I was doing wrong. This is how I was moving when I should have been moving differently. And so it's immensely important that you understand that you're going to rewrite the belief. The limiting belief, my past will always keep me from creating a bright future. Here are some empowering beliefs that you can replace it with. My past can't determine what I achieve in the future. My past has no direct bearing on my future. My past is one of my greatest assets because I learned what to do and what not to do. It's a perception thing. Then it says, lessons from the past make me wiser. In other words, I can look at even the mistakes in my past and determine how I'm better because of those mistakes, because I learned from them. You're not going to get through life in a situation where you are mistake-free. I am not where I'm at in my walk, in my life, in my journey because I've never made a mistake. I'm where I'm at in my life because I took those mistakes and I learned from them. I was resilient enough not to stay in them. And I made choices that moved me towards something better. I learned to recognize when something didn't feel right. I learned to recognize that, okay, I made a wrong move, make an adjustment. A lot of times people will make a wrong move, and because they feel they have to always be right, they'll stay with the move even though the move don't feel right, even though the move just doesn't seem right, even though people will tell them that's not the way. But because I made it, I can't be wrong. No, you can't be wrong. It's okay being wrong. What you can't do is be stuck in the wrong move or erroneous idea or erroneous concept. You've got to be flexible in your thinking, flexible in your movement. And when you find that, you'll find that there's absolutely nothing that can hold you back. So you can learn from your past, and that's just one belief, but each one of these lessons is the same way. Now what I want to do is I want to take you through the blueprint of escaping limiting beliefs and creating new liberating beliefs. And it's real simple. And then we're going to actually break out. We're going to start talking about some of the things that you guys are experiencing and what you can do in that specific situation versus what you're doing now, and how you escape the limiting beliefs, how you empower yourself. And that's the thing. Once you discover that you're not trapped, I mean, it's an unbelievable thing. It's like watching an animal that's been in a cage or a fence for a long time be released, and you watch them run around, and then they realize there are no boundaries. That fence was just that illusion that kept them in, but outside of that fence is nothing but freedom. And now they're outside, and you watch them, and it's like they're just explosively excited about what they're going to discover around the next corner because they've never been around the corner. And that's what you get to experience when you do this. So when we look at the blueprint, which I sent out to you, you can read it and all of that. I'm going straight to number one. And this is, remember that you are the editor of your own life story. I just told you that. The first thing that you have to remember is if it's something in your life that you don't like, you have the ability to change it. There's absolutely nothing in your life that you are stuck in. That is an illusion. That is an illusion that a lot of people live in, though. A lot of people live in the idea that this is what I was born into. This is my lot in life. I'm just meant to do it. You've heard me say this. If you followed me, you've heard me say this, I don't know how many times. You've heard me say that pain is inevitable, but suffering is a choice. Pain, you cannot avoid it. You're going to have some losses. You're going to experience some difficult moments. People are going to hurt you. It's going to happen. You can't avoid that. But suffering is literally connecting with your pain in a way that you become identified with it. You become a victim. And the moment you become a victim, you get tied to the suffering of that pain. And that makes you suffer until you decide to detach from that pain, until you decide to release that pain, and you decide to use the force of that pain to drive you towards something better. You decide to stand up and square your shoulders and walk into the beauty of what you're capable of being and out of that painful moment better than when you went into it. And that's the beauty of it. But here's the thing. You got to understand that you can rewrite your story. How do you rewrite your story? You rewrite your story by first forcefully speaking against it. Forcefully speaking against it. There's a part in the Bible, a verse in the Bible that I absolutely love, whether you are a Christian or not, it really doesn't matter. It's great psychology. It says that for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but they're mighty in God for the pulling down. Your greatest weapons are the things you can see. It's not your financial assets. It's not what you can read in a book, even though that's important. Your greatest assets is the spiritual warfare and the mental warfare going on in your mind, the battling of possibility against restriction. And what you have to understand, anything that's moving against an idea of you going to a higher place is working against you. And it says that the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but they're mighty in God for the pulling down of strongholds. Strongholds are any block that's stopping you from being what you can be. And so it says strongholds. It says, then what does it say? It says casting down arguments and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge. So casting out, what are arguments? Any idea, any suggestion, any sentence, any word that comes out that speaks against what you are saying that you are now striving for in your life. So anything that you say you want in your life, anything that speaks against it must be cast down. What do? That means, you know, the old folks used to do it like this. When you would say something and they didn't receive it, I rebuke that. Well, you know, that was their way of doing it. But what you can sit up and say is, I don't accept it. I do not accept that. I am going to rise up. I'm going to get control over my finances. I'm going to start this business. I'm going to save my marriage. I'm going to get married. I'm going to build a nice, powerful life. I'm going to set up a wonderful inheritance for my children and their children and their children. I'm going to be the progenitor and the beginning and the start of generational wealth in my family. And it goes on and on. You speak it. You sit up and you capture that moment, and you sit up and say, no, I cast down that argument against my success. I cast down that argument against my health. I cast down that argument against my growth. Anything that's speaking up and standing out and presenting itself against, I can't, but it doesn't stop there. It says bringing what? Every thought into captivity. What does that mean? Every time a thought crosses your mind that does not align up with what you are establishing for your future, you capture it in that moment and you replace it with a thought that speaks to the power of what you are establishing in your life. That's how you rewrite a story. Then you watch yourself talk. You watch yourself talk. How am I speaking? What am I saying about myself? Let me tell you something. Your brain is the most powerful supercomputer on this planet. It processes billions of bits of information per second. It's absolutely phenomenal. We don't hardly use it nearly at the capacity it's capable of being used, primarily because of our limiting beliefs. We're not even pushing it. We're not challenging it to do exceptional things. We're excited and happy just to get up and get through and get to work and get home. And that's a problem. You got to get outside of that box. But let me tell you something. Your brain is the most powerful supercomputer on the planet, but your self-talk is the programming that it's running. Anybody that understands anything about computers understands that the computer is only good as the program and the software that it runs. You can have this unbelievable computer. You let the wrong crap get on it, it's worthless. Same thing with your brain. What are you feeding it? And your self-talk is powerful. Why? Number one, you're speaking it. So you're actually making a declaration. Number two, you hearing it. So it's becoming a reinforcement mechanism on the idea. And before you know it, your subconscious is saying, I get it. This is who I am. I'm going to do it. 96% of your behavior is your subconscious, and you're feeding your subconscious through your self-talk. Be careful of what you say about yourself. Be careful of what you say about yourself. Now, after you sit up and you have literally written down, and you need to have a journal where you're writing out a story, not the story you're living, not the story you're sitting in, but the story you are establishing and declaring for your life. I am exceptional. I am extraordinary. I am abundant. I am wealthy. I am debt-free. I am powerful. I am relentless. I am dominant. I am. These are things that I tell myself every morning. Why? Because they're going to be situations, they're going to be people, they're going to be things that come during my day that try to tell me otherwise. And I have to have it established deep within my psyche and subconscious so that it resists any suggestion that I'm not capable, any suggestion that I can't fulfill what I have set out to fulfill in my life. It's our responsibility to protect the vision. It's our responsibility to protect the dream. It's our responsibility to walk in the fullness of our design and honor our creator. We were never designed to be mediocre. We were never designed to be average. We were never designed to just walk through and barely get through. We were designed to be phenomenal. We were designed to be exceptional. We were designed to be a representation of what's possible through the creator. Then the next thing you have to do is you have to find the point where your story diverges from reality, because anytime you're having a limiting belief that emerges and starts to control whether you do something or not, and it limits you, there's a point in which that thought and idea diverges from reality, because the truth is you can do anything. You can do, your mind is so unbelievably powerful. I'll give you an example, because a person said, well, you can't do this. And what about, let me tell you something. How many of you actually think that when Orville and Wilbur Wright sit up and said, we're gonna make a machine that flies like a bird, and you're gonna be able to get in it and you're gonna fly and you'll be able to go. How many people you think looked at them and said, you guys are absolutely crazy? People can't create machines to fly. Birds fly, people walk. It's that simple. And as they were trying to develop what we now know as aerodynamics, people were laughing at them. People were sitting up laughing at them, but they had in their mind, I'm going to do it. And so where does the truth diverge from reality? You got to pay attention to the inner dialogues and notice when it includes statements like, here's when you know that you've diverged from reality, and now it's your limiting beliefs talking crap to you. Whenever you start talking about I always, it never, there's no such, it don't always do anything. It ain't always raining. It ain't always sunny. It ain't always whatever. But check your talk, man. It don't never work for me. It's some people got on here that said my name in that box, but I don't never win anything. And I'm pretty sure you done won something before. But that's what the brain will tell you. Don't even try that, because it's never going to work for you. Even if somebody else can do it, it don't work for you. You're never going to be able to get that done. Never doesn't exist. Always doesn't exist. So whenever you start to hear those terms come up, that is a divergence from reality. That is a part of the lie of that limiting belief that's holding you back. You've got to find a ground in which you can sit up and say it's possible, because all you need to think of is what I'm trying to do possible. Not is it possible for me? Is it just possible? Because if anybody can do it, then all I have to do is relate myself to someone who can do it. And where am I at in relationship to that person who can do it? How far do I have to go to get to where that person is? Because see, you're traveling, you're on a journey, you're becoming something. Remember what I said, you don't get what you want, you get who you are, what you have become. And what you are becoming is determining what you can have and what you can do. So then you have to sit up and say, what do I need to become to have that? What do I need to become to start my first business? What do I need to become a millionaire? What do I need to become to run an international business? What do I need to become to have an awesome relationship and marriage? What I need to become? Always about becoming. Everything in my life has been about becoming something that I can be proud of, becoming something that my family can be proud of, becoming something that people will look at and aspire to. It was always about raising the level, raising the standard. But what I had to do is I had to get away from the idea that I couldn't. One of the most beautiful things that ever happened to me in my life was there were a lot of things. I had great parents who, although they couldn't see it for themselves, saw it in me some kind of way. But I had an 11th grade English teacher who actually knew me my entire high school career. She met me in my freshman year and would not leave me alone, just constantly was around me and pushing me and before I ever got to her class. But one thing she told me before I ever entered her class, I think I was like in the sophomore, and she had been around me and she would just stay, every time she saw me, come here. I'm like, oh my God. But something she told me, she said, be careful who you're hanging around. That boy right there, you don't need to be with him. I said, but we friends, we hang out at home, in the hood. And she said, let me tell you something. Association brings about assimilation. And I said, what does that mean? She says, you hang around him long enough, you start acting like him. And let me tell you something, there's too much out there in this world you are meant to do. She said, son, the word can't will never apply to you. And I literally took it, I took it. It won't apply to me. And so what I did is I stopped using the word can't about anything. Now, if it's something I don't want to do, I say I will not do it. I won't do it. I'm not doing it. But there's no such thing as I can't. It's not allowed to be used in my house. You got to be careful of the words you use. There's an ongoing joke, inside joke in my inner circle and the people in my periphery, the people who know me, that work with me, that deal with me. And it is, You know, when somebody new comes along and I introduce everybody and they're going like, hey, if you want to hang around, that's one thing you should know. If you want to be in this circle long term, don't ever say be realistic. And everybody busts out laughing, but they're absolutely correct. I don't allow it. When you are sitting up and somebody says they're going to do something and you tell them that's not realistic, what you just did is superimpose your limiting beliefs on them. And I do not allow that in my circle. I don't care what a person say they're going to be the first person to set up a residential area on the moon. Man, shoot, let me know how I can help. What do you need? The thing is, I love dreamers. I love dreamers because dreamers expand the world. People who don't dream sit up and just live in what other people created. Dreamers sit up and say, hey, man, I like it, but it could be better. Dreamers sit up and say, man, this is cool, but what if we did this with it? Man, that's how my mind goes. When my clients come to me, one of the things that I do is, and this is one of the things they love about me, and everybody says it, they say it differently, but the most common thing I heard is, say, man, you just took my dream and you put it on steroids. Exactly. I took something you came up with and I came up with 4 or 5 different ways you can actually do it better. That's what I do. Why? Because my mind has no cap on it. My mind has no cap. My mind doesn't sit up and say, well, whoo, that's going to be hard. Maybe we can figure out how to get that done. Ooh. No, my mind says, man, we can, not only can we do this, but what if we did it this way? And what if you did it that way? What if instead of you just doing it in your community, you did it nationally? What if that happened? And they're going, wow, I never thought about it. Well, shame on you. That's the thing. Stop limiting yourself to what you think other people will approve of. Stop limiting yourself to what you think other people think you're capable of. Step out there and blow the doors off this thing and do something different. Here's another problem. The dynamic of self-appreciation versus self-deprecation. How often are you edifying yourself? And how often are you tearing yourself down? I ain't never really been that smart. I ain't never been able to do that. Or, man, I don't care what happened. I'm about to blow this up. I'm about to do this. I can do it. I'm exceptional. I'm extraordinary. I'm smart. I'm remarkable. There's absolutely nothing that I can do. Matter of fact, I'm sitting up looking at it on my board and it just popped in my head. I end my prayer and meditation every morning by saying this. And you heard me say a little bit of it earlier because it's just so embedded in my mind. But I sit up and I say, I am committed to excellence. I am adequately sufficient to meet every challenge. I am abundant, wealthy, debt-free, powerful, relentless, and dominant. I don't care what's going on. I'm establishing my reality. My reality isn't just my circumstances, it's how I perceive them and what I declare will be. And so I'm declaring that every morning, I am committed to excellence. I'm not just going to show up to this crashing limited beliefs course and read over something and tell them, hey, you can do it and it's going to be okay. I'm showing up with my A game. I'm showing up with my passion. I'm showing up. I'm going to believe so much for them that they ain't going to be able to help but believe. I'm going to show up and put my best foot forward. And then I'm going to make sure that I leave something out there I can be proud of. And it's going to grow something for me. I'm going to grow them. And in the process, something for me is going to grow. That's how you expand yourself. But I say I'm adequately sufficient. I'm adequately sufficient to meet every challenge. I'm built for it. I'm absolutely built. You bring it, I'm built for it. I'm telling you, I've gone through so much in the past month. No one would ever know. People going like, dude, you still showing up every morning. You still, man, if I'm breathing, I'm in the fight. If I'm breathing, I'm going to win. You want to stop me, kill me. Other than that, I'm coming for what's mine. They tried to stop me a long time ago. What no way I was supposed to have businesses in my early 20s. That wasn't no way I was supposed to come back in my late 20s, early 30s and establish a professional athletic career. There was no way that I was to sit up and write 25 books. There was no way I was going to have 2 doctorates. Not all the things they said I couldn't have. I went and got some of the stuff just because they said I couldn't. You want to see me move? Tell me what I can't do. I'm trying to get you to understand something. There's a beauty in excellence. There's a beauty in demands, but you got to stop talking down. There are going to be enough people talking down on you. You don't need to talk down on yourself. People tell you need to be humble. You need to have some humility. Man, if I don't lift myself up, y'all will tear me down in a heartbeat. Somebody got to speak up for me. Somebody got to sit up and tell me how awesome I am. I'm not going to wait on you to do it. That's why I can go out and I can speak truth to people when I'm lecturing. That's why I can call people on their stuff and not worry about whether they're going to get mad at me or don't like me, because I'm not there to get my ego stroked. I'm not there for them to tell me how. I know how awesome I am. I put the work in. I did the work. I know who I am. I'm here to help you. So I'm not here to make you smile and feel all cozy and comfortable. I'm here to challenge you. I'm here to tell you the reason you ain't getting it done is because it's stuff you're doing right here. You might not like me today, but if you listen to me today, things are going to change. You better know who you are, because the world is going to try to convince you of something else. Why? Because there are a bunch of people in the world who benefit from you not knowing who you are, because they get to tell you and then use you. You are going to have to understand who you are. It is that simple. So stop deprecating it. And the last thing, real simple. The last thing, what? Leave that old story behind. You remember, we writing a new story. We're writing a new story. We're creating a new chapter. We're creating a new outlook. We're creating a new destiny, a new destination, a new purpose. Leave the old story behind. Stop picking up that old story. Stop going revisiting those old memories and those old failures and those old outcomes and results. That's in the past. It's in the past. Leave it where it is. Let it rest. You're looking forward. You're using your mindset. You're using your imagination. You are going. And if you're going to be working with me, you are going to literally be exploring things that you didn't even know were possible, because I'm going to push it. I'm going to challenge it. I'm going to reach inside and say, what are you holding on to this for? Why do you have this gift? Why is this sitting there dormant inside of you when the world needs you to expand yourself? The world needs you to bless it, and you're sitting still in the emptiness of what happened to you in the past. Stop mortgaging your future to pay for your past. Stop. Now, this is where we start to get interactive. I know all of you have stories, because I've fought through mine. I know you have stories. Anybody want to share one of their limiting beliefs that they struggle with, and that we can kind of talk about it? And remember, everybody on here, this is about being encouraging. This is about being uplifting. This is about supporting the belief that you can do anything you set your mind to. There are no such things as limitations until you accept them. Not everybody at once. Don't make me come get you.
Hey, Dr. Walsh?
Yes.
Yeah. We probably talked about it before when we talked a few months ago, but it's a consistent thing of just maintaining that discipline from day to day. You can write it out. Hey, I'm gonna do 1 through 10. I'm gonna do A, B, C, D, and E, and stop it for some reason at D. Decide, hey, well, I'll take the rest tomorrow. So it's just hanging on to, just trying to, Jim Rohn talks about the pain of discipline, or the pain of regrets.
Right.
And I'm trying to stay away from that regrets part.
Right.
And use it just and get a hold of the discipline. So that's kind of what I've struggled with. Just that day-to-day consistency and discipline. Like I say, just trying to do the work that needs to get done, and be consistent about it and disciplined.
Okay, check this out. There seems to be a combination here. There's a combination of an issue with self-discipline, but I think some of that lack of self-discipline is also being fed by a limiting belief. Now, what you have to do is identify the belief that just, let me put it this way to you. If it wasn't a limiting belief involved, the self-discipline would be more highly motivated. What do I mean by that? If you believed, say for instance, someone told you that here's a map, and on this X on the map, there's $10 million buried 5 feet deep in the ground, exactly where this X is. And based on what you know about that person, you come to a conclusion. Well, if you know this person has always been full of crap, what are the chances you're going to give everything you have to actually go look? Flip side of that is, if this person has always told you the truth and every time they come through, before they finish the sentence, you're already in the garage getting the axe, the shovel. Nobody's got to tell you to go finish it. Something that you are believing is getting you, after you get to point D, something is saying, man, am I really investing in something that's going to produce? As a question that you need to answer in yourself that guarantees you that when you put in the work that you get the result, because you do. But you get the result commensurate to the level of effort you put in. Here's the problem that most people experience. Most people experience, okay, I'm gonna go into this. I really don't believe it because my mama said this, my teacher said this, my friends always said this about me. Every time I've tried this in the past, this happened. I really don't think it's gonna work, but it's people expecting me to at least try. So what I'm gonna go out here and do, I'm gonna go through the motions. Well, here's the problem. You go out there to go through the motions. You really don't apply yourself. There's no real true consistency in the work ethic. You're not 100% committed. You just go out there and you go through the motion. The problem is your results are gonna always be directly commensurate to the effort and the energy and the consistency you gave. So guess what? Your results are gonna what? Suck. They're gonna absolutely suck. But guess what that does? That reinforces the belief that you had in the beginning that it wouldn't work.
Right. So
now what do? You do it, you give even less energy next time you try something. Why? It doesn't work. I done tried this before. No, you didn't. You didn't try. You went through the motions. When you try, you get the results. It's not going to come easy. It doesn't come overnight. But what you have to do is anchor yourself in a belief so strong that you wake up going for it. I literally fall out of bed in the morning, coming to work to put it, and it's times that I could, for instance, I literally had to give away my firstborn to get the few people on this thing to get something that's going to bless them for their lives, because sometimes people don't get it. But my goal was, I'm going to do this and I'm going to help this amount of people today. And I made up in my mind I was going to do that 2 weeks ago. I put it out there and I started, and I'm going to do something every 2 weeks. That's going to help improve people's lives. But what I did is I sit up and say, you know what? That first video went out, nobody responded. That's it. You know how many videos alone I had to put out to get y'all here today? I'm giving away 2 $10,000 500 packages. But you know what? Working with those people and getting the result and getting just one of you guys to come back and say, you blessed me on this course today, was worth all of what I gave away. Why? Because sometimes the money don't look like it lines up until later. You got to understand that if I invest in something and I've given to it genuinely, it's coming back to me. May not come back when I think it should, how I think it should, but it will come back. You got to have an understanding that you're investing. So one of the things, Lance, that you've got to really pay attention to is what limiting belief makes me feel that going all in today and staying up a little later and finishing what I should be finishing isn't really going to produce anything. Find it, eliminate it, replace it with something that says, I'm about to blow this thing up. I'm about to make something happen. However you want to word it, is up to you, but it's got to make sense to you in the sense that I am not going to sit here and be limited by some idea or notion that came from somewhere way back in my past. I'm bigger than I am right now. I'm better than I am right now. I'm smarter than I am right now. I'm more wealthier than I look right now. I'm wealthier than my bank account. I have to sit up and I have to establish that, and I have to go after that. Same thing with you. Your follow through is definitely self-discipline, but you got to have something to underwrite the self-discipline. I don't care how self-disciplined you are. If you believe something ain't gonna happen, you ain't finna do it, or you're not gonna do it with any energy and effort. People don't go out and give 100% on something that they don't believe is gonna work. So you got to kill the notion that it's not gonna work before you can get to the next level. Who else wants to share? Not all at once. Don't make me come get you. This is a no judgment zone. So who's next? Come on. Somebody.
Hi, Dr. Wallace. Can you hear me?
Hey, Samantha. How are you?
Hey, pretty good. So I would like to share, I guess what limits me is everybody telling me I'm gonna fail at anything that I do. So, and I might do a lot of stuff. So, but I feel like I feel like I'm good or could be good at everything that I do want.
Okay. Fortunately, I've had a chance to work with you already. And so, again, I know enough about you. I want to tell everybody on here that I think Samantha is absolutely awesome. She deserves hero status. I'm not going to share her story. If she decides she wants to share her story, she can. But I'm telling you what she has triumphed over just to this point in her life. The courage she's had to execute in order to be where she is right now is immensely remarkable. So what I want to first of all say is you've already done an awesome job. The second thing is you've got to stop giving the wrong people your ear. What other people think about what you can and cannot do is of no consequence to you. You need to first and foremost consistently feed your mind with the idea that you can. Then you need to find and surround yourself with people who believe you can. And there needs to be a rule. Nobody uses the word can't in this group. Nobody sits up and tell anybody else what their limits are. We don't talk about limits in this group. We talk about limitless opportunities, limitless possibilities, limitless powerful resources. We're talking about what we can accomplish here, not what we can't. And that is something that you have to do. You have to be aware of the fact that there are people out there, because they've never been able to accomplish nothing, that they're going to literally superimpose their limiting ideas about life on everybody else so that they can be comfortable with being mediocre. And the way they do that is they just tell you, you can't do that because that happened. You know how many people fail in the first 3 years of starting a business? You know how many people fail when they do this? You know how hard it is to overcome poverty? You know how, they got us, it's always something, someone, something stopping us.
Gotta try.
Right. So what it is you have done probably the most challenging thing you're going to do in your life. You've already done it. You have. That move you made is remarkable. And it took courage. And think about this. You did that and you didn't know what the outcome was going to be. Did you?
No.
You didn't. But you're moving, you're coming out, you're growing. Just in the short time that I've dealt with you, I've watched you grow. I remember when I told you, I've watched you smile 3 times since this started, because I'm looking at everybody who actually showing on the camera. Most people are being incognito because I guess they realize this is going to be a teaching film, but you're actually live. And so I'm paying attention and I watch you smile. You remember when you first came to me, I couldn't get you to smile to save your life. That's growth. That's coming out of something. That's the beginning of being able to experience something that you didn't know was possible, but you believed enough to move on it because you somewhere inside said it has to be something better than what I'm dealing with right now. And now you're moving. So what you have to do in this point is stop consulting people who don't know how to edify you. Stop consulting people who don't know how to build you up. Start looking within yourself and start edifying yourself. Use that journal, talk to yourself, use the affirmations we talked about. And you know you're going to get the support you need when we're working together. But whatever happens, you've got to operate in a place and in a space in which you believe beyond belief. And that is something that you develop and you build. That's something that we'll be working on. But you have everything it takes. Don't let anybody talk you down. Don't let anybody sit up there and tell you what you can and cannot do. You want to share something else?
I mean, that's really it. It's just like, people and their doubts and scared of failure. But I'm gonna try anyways. So.
And you're going to do more than try. You're going to succeed. Why? Because you're going to keep trying until you get there. That's how it's done. It's not done because I tried and I got it. The successes that I've experienced in life is because I kept trying. I kept trying. I kept trying. And every time I tried, I got better. And then eventually I started saying, man, I'm not really where I want to be, but you know what? I'm not where I was. And that's what you want to do. You want to wake up every day better. You want to wake up every day a little bit smarter, a little bit more experienced, a little bit more stronger, a little bit more focused. And then what you realize, and what'll happen, guess what? If you wake up every day and you're just a little bit better when you go to sleep. Maybe I read a book, and I read a lot. That's one way that ensures I grow every day. I'm constantly studying. I'm constantly reading. Why? Because as I add to myself, I expand myself. It's a part of the growth process. Well, guess what? If I wake up every day and I add a little bit to myself every day, that means I don't go to bed the same person that woke up. Well, guess what happens? A year from now, I don't resemble the person I am now. I'm different. I'm bigger. I'm stronger. I'm more aware. I'm more experienced. I have more knowledge. I have an ability to expand and use my imagination coupled with my knowledge to create solutions that I couldn't create right now. Why? Because I'm waking up every morning and the goal is just to be a little bit better when I go to sleep at night. And sometimes I get these, what I call quantum leaps, where I just get a real big dose of growth in one day. It may come in the way of an epiphany or an experience or something, but I look up and one day I take a big leap, but I'm more worried about the consistent progress. Because consistency I can do every day. That leap comes every now and then, you get it. And it's awesome. But just know if I wake up every morning and I keep trying, the longer I'm trying, I'm getting better. You can't keep practicing something and not get better at it. So eventually you're going to be good enough to do what you want to do in it. The problem is most people quit before the transformation is complete. But we're going to definitely deal with that. I want to really thank you for coming on because I know how you are with social media and I know how you are with public expression. So again, I'm proud of you. You really did great. I want to thank Lance for coming on and sharing, because sometimes one of the most difficult things, because we live in a world where everybody pretends, one of the most difficult things for us to do is to admit that we have weaknesses, to admit that we don't have it all together. And to me, That's one of the beauties of who I am, is the fact that I'm not perfect, that I don't know all the answers, that I don't always land in the position and the place that I wanted to land in. Sometimes I get knocked flat on my back, but I get up. And that's the beauty of life, is that I get up. As long as I'm breathing, I'm still in the fight. And that's what I want to get you guys to understand, that this winning thing isn't about getting it right all the time. The winning thing is about, you can't stop me because I won't quit. I'm coming. One thing I share with my clients a lot, because, you know, clients, they'll ask you, how did you get here? How did you do that? How, you know, 47 companies, 25 books, professional, how all that end up in your life and you're only 54 years old? And I don't quit. And the way I normally answer it is, once I make up in my mind that I'm going to get something, there are only two options. I'm going to either get it or I'm going to die trying. There are no options, no other options. I'm not quitting. I'm not folding up. I'm not whining. I'm not crying. I'm not pointing fingers and blame. I'm going to keep waking up, answering the bell until I have it or I stop breathing. That's how I've gotten where I've gotten. That's how I've overcome some of the most horrible setbacks you can imagine. It's because I'm never out of the game. And I don't know if you were able to read this, but one beautiful woman to another, Andrea said, Samantha, you are absolutely beautiful. You can do it. I believe in you. She said that in the comments. And, you know, I would love, I mean, y'all stay connected. And I think both of y'all are actually in Epic Realm. So if y'all want to connect and talk in Epic Realm and then maybe connect and talk off, I know that Andrea is in Houston, and I know that you're up there in the state of Washington, the state of Washington, but you guys can connect and talk and share. You guys have similar stories in certain ways. I think you can really be an uplift, but here's the beauty. Find a person that'll fan your flames. Find a person that's going to speak highly of you, not because of where you're at as much as what they can see in you. I remember going through a very difficult time in my life. And I remember there was this one person who always treated me like way up here. I mean, I was at the worst time in my adult life. I was flat on my back. I was embarrassed. I was hurt, but I wouldn't quit. And this person would always talk to me with such reverence. And it was a female, somebody I had known. She's now married to one of the most prominent pastors in Atlanta. They're doing some crazy, wonderful things. But at the time, she was single, we were friends, and she knew what I was going through. And, you know, I was expecting people to look down on me. You know, a lot of people were celebrating because a lot of people don't like when you're up here. So when you fall, they're not feeling bad for you. They're literally laughing. They're celebrating. But so one day I had to ask, I say, you treat me with such reverence. I need to know why. You know my story better than anybody because we talk. I say, why do you treat me with such reverence? She said, because I see who you are, not where you're at. And I said, wow. And then she followed up with this. She says, when I watch you move in your situation, it makes me want to up my faith game. That's how you live life. You live life so when people watching you go through something, they say, man, I got to get on that level. The way this person is handling this, when I go through my storm, I want to handle it like that because the storm is coming. The difficulty is coming. What are you going to do when the challenge hits? That's going to determine how well you do. So find the people who will fan your flame. Find the people who can see that genius in you. Find the people who can see the brilliance in you. Not where you're at, but who you are. That's the thing. Okay, who's next?
Hey, Dr. Rick.
Hey, Damien, what's going on?
Just absorbing this whole vibe, man. Just this is exactly what I needed, because I've been doubting. I mean, I've always struggled with doubting myself, second guessing myself when it comes to, being able to do things that I know I can possibly do. And it also doesn't help much when you don't have much of a group that can encourage you in order to do, like, that won't make you feel stupid about the ideas that you put out there, because I'm a big dreamer, man. I dream a lot about things. I always envision myself doing things that I know I can possibly do, even if it seems very far fetched and absurd to some people. I've always believed that, if I can possibly do it, if I could just set my mind to it, I could possibly do it. But yet I find myself struggling to continue to try to see what I can do to manifest that into reality. That's part of the reason why I joined the Epic Realm. It's because of the fact that I want to be around like-minded individuals that will push me to succeed in, whatever area I choose to do. And that's just what it is. I mean, I feel like those limiting beliefs that we're talking about here today has really held me back from really, showcasing what my potential could possibly be. But I also recognize that, even though I'm a perfectionist to a fault, nobody is perfect. I'm damn sure not perfect. But, it's just one of those things where I feel like I gotta just slow down and realize that I'm always a work in progress. But it's also good to know that, people can be able to help you along the way. And, I'm not necessarily saying that I need external validation, even though it seems like that's what I've been seeking forever and a day. I mean, I just want to be able to say, hey, I'm just gonna continue working on myself and continue, not saying I can't do it, but I can. And I feel like that's, I'm doing a lot better than I was last year. I'll tell you that much. You know, I only got back in the gym this week after a hiatus of about 3 months. And, I'm just working on them and improving in all different aspects because I want to be the best version of myself. But, it's always good to have reassurance of people along the way sometimes.
Right.
That's how I feel about it.
Okay. What I see in your situation is a couple of things. You are a person who dreams big, but you tend not to move on it, and you tend to be looking outside of yourself for people to tell you it's okay. And it's good. You do. You need to have a circle of people. That's why I created Epic Realm, is for people to come in and actually be in an environment where there are nothing but other people aspiring and striving to do something exceptional. And then that there's a rule that you encourage and you bring others along with you. And I created that. And so it's nothing wrong with designing that, but you can't, who my number one cheerleader is? Me.
So,
Me. I don't look to my wife to cheer me on any greater than I cheer myself. I don't look to my kids to cheer me on any greater than I cheer myself. I don't look to my clients to cheer me on. I cheer myself on. I am my greatest inspiration and motivation. I am the person that challenges me more than anybody else because I am never going to quit on me. I'm never going to get iffy with myself. I'm never going to have an attitude with myself where I don't want to talk to me, or where I'm upset, or where I'm mad. So I'm going to tear you down today. Normally I lift you up, but I'm going to tear you down today. That's never going to happen. So the one person I can depend on is me. The one person that I can know will every day wake up and tell you, you got this, dude, is me. So the first thing I have to do is I have to get inside of my head enough to make myself believe when I tell myself I got that. How do you do it? You got to consistently have affirmations that you speak to yourself daily. You got to speak them passionately. And this is the most challenging thing to do, because when you first start speaking them, you have been trained to look at where you're at, and where you're at doesn't look like anything you're saying, and it sounds fake. But what you got to understand is you're manifesting stuff in the fifth dimension before it ever comes into the three-dimensional realm of what we call reality, where we touch stuff and experience it. It starts with our minds in the fifth dimension. I'm creating it the moment I speak it. But I got to speak it with a force. And then I got to cultivate it. I cultivate it in a number of ways. I cultivate it by constantly thinking about it. I cultivate it by constantly speaking it. I cultivate it by moving toward it. I'm not waiting for some validation or some proof to move toward it. I am the proof. And I move toward it, which is, again, further proof. You have to have this mechanism that you develop within yourself that encourages you in the times where things around you are getting shaky. Now, what'll happen is the more you do it, the more people you will find that'll gravitate towards you because of the energy you emit and the vibration you create that literally lifts them. And then you'll find them going, you're this, you're that, you're this, but you don't need it now, but it's still powerful. You stop needing it, but it's still powerful. But as long as you need it, you're going to be up and down a lot, because sometimes people are going to say, you're so this, you're so that. Then the next time people say, what make you think you can do that? Have you ever did anything like that before? Man, let me know how it turned out. And all of that stuff that they're going to be shooting at you. And then you're sitting up because you needed them to say, man, you got it, but they didn't. Now you second guessing yourself. Man, number one is, by the time I tell somebody I'm doing something, I'm so sold out to it, they could come to me and tell me they Jesus Christ and it ain't gonna happen. Me and Jesus about to have an argument. That's how much I believe God created us to act on faith. The entire universe is designed to respond to what we believe and show by way of action. I don't care what nobody thinks. Me and God on a mission. Y'all can come along if you want to, but it's me and God. God already told me I'm a bad man. He already told me I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. He already told me that I can conquer things. I don't need anybody else to do it. Now, when people do it, it helps. But what you find out is more people do it after you realize you can already. The more you get into yourself and you start doing it, the more you start hearing people say, oh my God, you got to hear this dude. You got to see this dude and watch this dude over here doing that. Well, they weren't saying that before you did it. You're going to have way more people jump on after you done already figured it out. That's how life is. But you got to go get it. And so that's the beauty of sitting up. Find out what thought has you locked down, because that's the thought that's shutting you down every time. With you, it may be, man, not enough people are saying it's possible. I don't care who says it's possible. As much as I travel, I know that I'm glad Orville and Wilbur Wright didn't listen to the people that told them it was impossible, because I couldn't imagine driving everywhere and then having to take a ship overseas. I'm glad that, the person that came up with the cell phone decided we didn't need to have landlines locking us into a room, that we can literally move around and still talk to one another. Makes my business easy. I'm glad of the person who stood up and said, internet, you mean people can connect all around the world and have information all in one place? And you can, and I'm glad they didn't sit up and listen to the people told them that was crazy, because we wouldn't be able to sit here and do what we're doing now and learn. They're no different than you. They just believed. That's what you have to do. You got to believe in yourself. You got to believe that things are possible beyond your wildest imagination. And then you got to go out and go after it. Anybody else want to share? Okay, is that it? Well, y'all ready for the exciting part? Pull the box out, pull the names out. Y'all ready? Here it is. Shake it up. I got them folded up so I can't see the names. I'm opening it. And shake it up. Let's see. Here's the first one. We're pulling two. Alma Williams, who happens to be on here. Alma, you have just won a $10,500 platinum package to work with yours truly. And one more. Here it is. Again, not opened. I couldn't see it. Who do we have here? Keisha Stevens, who signed up for the sole purpose of being entered into this thing. She won. So Keisha Stevens and Alma Williams. I'm gonna have to find Keisha, but Keisha Stevens and Alma Williams, you are now the two proud owners of a $10,500 platinum package. Now, to anybody else who has enrolled in this program, whether you're on here or not, you can now purchase that same platinum package for 90% off. So that's $10,500 package. You can now purchase that for $1,500. I know everybody can't afford it, but that is the best that I can do. That's 90% off. And it's a year, it's 52 sessions, and we're going hard in the paint. I'm excited about this. Alma, you should have the information. If not, you'll be receiving an email from me. Keisha, you'll be hearing from me so that we can set up these programs and get you started. For those of you who are looking for other means, again, I'm going to take this and merge this course, the video part with the written part, and I'm going to be re-releasing it. You guys will get the total thing for free. And to keep as a record and to revisit, others will be purchasing it at regular price. But I'm excited that I got to share with you guys. It was an awesome experience. I really hope that you got something from it. I really hope that you take this and you take the processes and go through this course. This course is a lot more comprehensive than what we did here. I got to the meat of it to show you what you can do. I took you through the 5-step principle, but there are practices. Go through each one. Even if that limiting belief isn't a limiting belief you hold, go through the practice anyway, because what you're doing is you're training your brain that when you run into a limiting belief, how to get rid of it. That's the way I designed it. It's real simple. It's real easy. Just read it and do what it says, and it's training you. And keep practicing it until you get it. And you're going to find out that a lot of stuff that has been holding you back no longer holds you back. Now, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get ready to get off of here, save what's left of my voice. And I hope that some of you will actually take advantage of that opportunity to buy the platinum package at a discounted price, because it is definitely, matter of fact, hold on, let me see what I can do. Oh, that's the wrong place. I'm actually, here we go. Okay, here we go. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stay on a little while longer. I'm going to actually put the link in the description box, and then I'm going to send the link out to everyone except Keisha and Alma. And you have until the end of the day to sign up. It won't be valid after today. And Samantha, I think Andrea sent her number to you. And if you want to gift it to somebody, you can also gift it to somebody because a lot of people are in need of help. So if you want to gift it to somebody, you can do that. You can, as they say, pay it forward. But here is the discount link for the platinum package. And I just put it in the chat. I'm going to leave the chat up for a while so that you can you can click it and open it up and then go back to it if you want to. But I'm also going to send it to you in an email that'll go out today. And remember, this is only good for today. But definitely, we are going to move towards something positive. So if you're not working with me in some way now, find a way to work with me, because I planned on doing something phenomenal beyond anything I've done in the past this year. I said this year was going to be epic. This year is going to be epic. And I want you guys to experience epic with me. So step out there and go after it and make it happen. I'm going to shut down now. By now, everybody should have had a chance to grab that link. And I will be talking to you guys soon. On that note, it's been great. You guys have a wonderful day.